Hi, this is Dr. Cairns. Welcome to week 5 of Managing Teams in Conflict. I really have enjoyed the progress that is being made in this class, and I'm really learning a lot from each one of you, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment as I review your forum discussion. Here's our roadmap, where we're going, how we're going to get there, and when. And our overarching principle is that we're looking for God to amaze you in some aspect of your life, and so we're making mention of you in our prayers every day, that God would do something for you that you may need personally, professionally, or spiritually as a result of something that occurs during this class. This week we had a discussion on creativity, and you had a chance to engage in a self-assessment of that, and it was fun for me to read maybe the plausible deniability of some of you with the instrument itself, whether or not it was really tweaked to be that everybody's creative, and maybe there should be more questions to really sniff that out. And the more you discussed it, the more you showed just exactly how creative you really are. One of the things I like about creativity is that we define it sometimes by what we think are inventions or original ideas, but really creativity is building on other people's thoughts and ideas, and really how much is really new under the sun. And I like that also creativity takes place through organization and structure, that we make sense out of chaos, as Keller wrote, and some of you mentioned that in your reflections as well. So with that, I just want to kind of remind you of one thing, and that is, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, and you and I are a product of that creator. What more creativity do we need to see that it's embedded in our DNA? So go forth and be creative. This week we're going to turn our thoughts to developing effective teams. You're going to engage in a discussion of let Bartlett be Bartlett, and I'll share about that in a moment. But this is an outline of the chapter that you're going to be reading in chapter 6, as well as taking a quiz associated with that. This is a great chapter. It looks at putting groups together and building teams, and what do you need to do to help teams focus. And you'll also see a revisitation of IDEO. They use IDEO as an example of empowered teams, and here I have looking at the typical characteristics of a team. And with that, you're going to look at a questionnaire that a friend of mine, Dr. Robert Preciosi, put together called a High Performance Team Questionnaire. And you're going to use that to engage in an analysis of watching an episode of The West Wing. Before I became the head of HR for NBC in the entertainment division, The West Wing was one of my favorite shows to watch, and it was actually fun to actually be a part of an organization, and was still being viewed and taped at that time and produced. And then later on, for me to actually go to the real West Wing and be a part of Homeland Security, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. So this week you're going to look at an episode of West Wing, and some of you may never have seen an episode, so this will be something hopefully you'll enjoy and use the analysis of the questionnaire to help you as you observe this particular episode. So this is going to be a questionnaire, obviously, that you're going to use in your paper and your analysis of a team that you're going to look at. And all of you have submitted your teams and your groups, and I'm really looking forward to your papers. Some really eclectic groups, and you're going to share that with each other. This is going to be an opportunity to engage in you making an assessment based on observations using this questionnaire. Pictured here is a picture that says the best wing. And if you look kind of closely, hopefully in the center of this you may recognize a particular pose by your professor, Dr. Cairns. This was my group that I managed, and the team that I had, our HR team. And actually this is a view called the best wing, and I actually stole this idea, or actually asked to steal this idea from someone else. They were creative in thinking about it, and so we put this together and created it for our own organization. So have some fun with the best wing and the West Wing, and I look forward to reading your analysis as well. Without giving away too much of the film, we'll talk a little bit about that more next week. So this week, I continued to daily make mention of you in our prayers, and also your reflections in Keller are just really phenomenal. And I encourage you to keep those as you revisit those in our discussion of faith and work and our serving God in the workplace. So our forum discussion this week will be engaging in a case analysis of Let Bartlett Be Bartlett, also looking at developing effective teams in chapter 6 of your text. As we peek ahead to week 6, there's going to be a group activity related to a forum discussion there. Week 8 will be your group team study paper that you work together. And then week 9, a cooperative exam, just kind of tweaking you for that. So with that, remember the virtual classroom never sleeps. Hopefully you get some rest, and we'll see you next week.